Instead of becoming rich, he became a slave. Hi friends, welcome back with a new amazing video from Rolling Movie Recaps. Today, I'm going to recap a 2021 drama film titled 7 Prisoners. Spoiler warning, watch out and take care. The film opens up with a scene portraying a devastated family assembled in their patio. Matthias is the most youthful part of the family that incorporates a mother, 2 sisters, and a small child. They showed up to be an upbeat family who live in agreement, making a difference each other get ready for lunch, especially Mateus, who showed up to worship his mother and family. Her mother handed Mateus some gifts from the money she had set aside for monthly expenses while they were eating lunch. In exchange for him finding a new job, she offered him some nice clothes and a magazine. She was ecstatic for him and bought him gifts to show it. Mateus and his family were overjoyed at the prospect of a better life for their family over lunchtime. Mateus went for the job the following day. He said his goodbyes to his family before being picked up in a van at his home. Gilson is the one who contacted Mateus and offered him a job in São Paulo. He handed his mother a large sum of money, which he described as a starting point for their new life together. He assured Mateus' family that he should not be concerned. Mateus will follow in his footsteps. After going to the city, you'll have a better life. Mateus went to the van and met his pals, Isak, Samuel, and Ezekiel. All of them had different backgrounds. They were full of hope as they each told each other about their purpose and goals for which they acquired that job. Their mood was upbeat with a lot of laughter and a lot of anticipation. They eventually landed in São Paulo, where they found work in a junkyard. Luca, their employer, was introduced by Gilson. Mateus and his companions were shown to their room while Gilson walked away. Luca made a hasty demand that they reveal their true identities. Mateus was a perceptive young man, and he inquired as to what Luca was doing, to which Luca replied that it was merely for paperwork. Later, he informed them to go to work at 5 a.m. the next day, but Mateus inquired as to where and how the contract would be negotiated between them. Luca merely stated that it would be completed this week. Mateus objected to the ambiguous response by saying, "With all due respect, they're here to work, so the contract should be unambiguous." "Okay, I think I'll tell my human resource to have that stuff done as soon as possible," Luca said quietly. Mateus also asked Luca to join them for supper because Gilson had promised them a free meal if they worked for Luca. Luca lingered for a while, and Mateus was given $4 for dinner. Mateus and his companions dined at a local restaurant in the evening. Looking around at the surrounding towers, they're awestruck by what they refer to as city, and they even fantasize about living in the tallest structure. When they got to the restaurant, one of them, Ezekiel, couldn't read the menu due to his lack of education, so they all ordered the same thing. Later in their room, they began sharing their backgrounds and motivations for a better life because they shared a disadvantaged area. They started looking for work the next morning. Luca demonstrated how to do the job by peeling a wire to get only the pure copper that could be sold, and they generally worked as servants to the junkyard owner doing manual labor. They'd been working for a week when time passed. Mateus kept an eye on Luca, who was making a lot of money from their business at the time, but they weren't paid for that week. While they were eating their lunch, Luca told them to hurry because the next delivery was coming soon. Mateus opposed, telling Luca that they needed to be compensated for the 1-week period. The tension between them increased. Gilson appears to have paid them on behalf of Luca. They were enslaved to him. Working for free earned you money. Mateus was informed by Luca that they were not being reimbursed for their loans, which included transportation, room equipment, and other items used at the facility. And Luca also reminded him of the $4 he had requested for supper the first day. They were taken in by human trafficking and enslavement, which startled them. Mateus became enraged and departed, but when laying on the floor after being hit by Nando, Luca's helper, Luca approached him and demanded Mateus' phone. Mateus lingered for a bit before being compelled to hand over his phone to Luca by Nando. Following that, Luca sneered at Mateus' buddies, who were horrified by what had just happened. He then forced them to give him their phones as he demanded of Mateus. Samuel immediately gave it to him with a scared expression on his face. Well, Isak stayed for a while, only to be smacked numerous times by Luca. This was the second violent scene that horrified me. Isak eventually handed up his phone to Luca. Ezekiel, on the other hand, refused to offer it because he had forgotten to carry his phone. They planned to flee that horrible place later that evening. They were going to contact the cops as soon as they were out of there, but there was no way out. The gate was locked and barbed wire was used to connect the walls. Mateus then went to Luca's office in search of the key. He was caught red-handed by Luca instead of acquiring the key he wanted. Matthias was astonished and terrified when Luca dragged him outside and threatened him with a gun in front of his buddies. If they want Matthias to live, Luca advised them to get inside their chamber. They gave in to his pleas and returned to their room, their escape plan having failed. Anger and frustration have grown in their room. Matthias and Isak in particular were considering their next course of action. Isak was the type of person who wanted to do things on the spur of the moment, and he wanted to kill Luca right away. Matthias, on the other hand, preferred to organize and strategize beforehand so that he could be risk-free. Matthias' idea was accepted by Samuel and Ezekiel, and they followed it. They carried out their plan the next day, but it all went wrong since Ezekiel failed to utilize his art to smack Luca while he was drawn to Samuel. Isak managed to flee, but was apprehended by the crooked cops. They agreed with another of Matthias' plans that they should be smarter than Luca after those attempts. So Matthias made a deal with Luca. They may give them more copper to deliver than usual, but if they can pay back their loan in 6 months, Luca must release them free. They made a deal on it. Matthias and his pals worked tirelessly day after day, night after night, to attain their goal of being free of slavery. And it worked. They succeeded. Until a human resource inspection officer arrived at the Luca junkyard. With the exception of Matthias, the 3 of them were forced to leave with Nando by an automobile, and Luca appeared to be using Matthias as his second hand as a result. Matthias became Luca's second hand after a few weeks, leaving his pals behind. That, though, was not his decision. He was forced to do so until he gained Luca's trust and they could escape. But as time passes, Matthias realizes he has no option because the system is far larger than he anticipated. Slavery and human trafficking are prevalent, he observed. He was on that system from the beginning, whether he realized it or not. After Matthias unwittingly added 3 additional victims that Luca had brought from a friend to their location, Samuel and his companions became enraged, felt deceived, and gradually lost trust in him. Matthias became Luca's proxies, and he trusted Matthias enough to hand him his phone so that he could call his mother. During the call, the mother inquired as to why he had sent them so much money. Matthias was taken aback, but Luca explained that it was a reward for his hard work and that he deserved it. Matthias was torn between saving his friends and his family by staying behind Luca to acquire a large sum of money for his family. Samuel escaped from that location the other day and was apprehended by Matthias. He then makes a call to Batista, one of the corrupt cops on Luca's orders, in order to scare Samuel's family and serve as a warning. When he saw a picture of Samuel's mother being threatened with a gun, he was taken aback. He then gave Samuel that image in their room, causing Samuel to scream. Luca had been promoted from his supervisor to a better place and position the next day, and he wanted Matthias to accompany him. As a result, Luca entrusted the junkyard to another man who remained under his command, but Matthias' buddies remained. Matthias sighed as Luca walked away to converse with the new guy. Samuel encouraged him to rest, and when he inquired if he had a cigarette, Matthias handed it to him. Samuel also requested the matchstick, which he was given, but when Samuel returned it, he attacked him. With the cigarette, he burned his hand. Luca and Matthias departed the junkyard the next morning, abandoning his buddies, leaving them there as slaves. Matthias' facial expression throughout the scene was guilt, and he kept glancing at his damaged hand until he was burned by Samuel. It was a sign that he'd be haunted for the rest of his life, making him feel guilty that Samuel had given him that sign as a warning that he was the one who had abandoned his companions. We hope you enjoyed our video from today. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to receive notifications of new and interesting videos.